Santa Mataji, you will be doing the kirtan today.
Hare Krishna, Prabuji, Tanvat Pranam. Satyadeva Prabuji is supposed to do the kirtan.
Okay, okay. He's not yet
I
joined.
think he'll be joining soon. May I start with the Guru Pranam?
Charu Prabhuji, the Santa Mataji can start with the kirtan.
Yes, yes, please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All glory.
Hare Krishna, Charu Bhaiji.
Hare Bol.
Vishnu Pada, Krishna Prishaya, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurava Chari Nirvishesha Nyavari Vashakati Sakari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Putari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Putari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivara Hari Yashoda Braja Janaram Yashodanam Braja Janaram Yashodanam Braja Janaram Jamuna Tira Manachari Jamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Jaya Raja माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। I'll do Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna Bhavan Jugala Kishore, Radha Krishna Bhavan Jugala Kishore, Radha Krishna Bhavan Jugala Kishore, जीवने मरने कभी और नहीं हो, जीवने मरने कभी और नहीं हो, राधा कृष्ण खान किशोर। कालिंद्र के तुले कदम्बर कालिंद्र कुले के कदम्बर पाना, रत्न बेदीरा उसका भूषा पदूषण, रत्न बेदीरा उसका भूषा पदूषण, राधा कृष्ण पान मोरा जुगल किशोर। श्याम गौरी अंगे चंदे नरकंठ, श्याम गौरी अंगे चंदे नरकंठ, चमर गुलाबो कवे गिरिमुख चंद्र, चमर गुलाबो कवे गिरिमुख चंद्र, राधा कृष्ण प्राण जुगल किशोर। गाठिया माला तिरमाला दीपो तो पार करके, गाठिया माला तिरमाला दीपो तो पार करे, अधरे तुलिया दीपो कर्पूर तांबुले, अधरे तुलिया दीपो कर्पूर तांबुले, राधा कृष्ण पान मोरा जुगल किशोर। ललिता विशाखा जट सखी वृंदा, ललिता विशाखा जट सखी वृंदा, अंजनय खोरी बो सेवा चरणारविंद, अजनय खोरी बो सेवा चरणारविंद, राधा कृष्ण प्राण जुगल किशोर। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासे रानुदासा, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु दासे रानुदासा, सेवाभिलाष नरोत्तम दास, सेवाभिलाष पुरे नरोत्तम दास, Radha Krishna Pranam Jugala Kishore. Radha Krishna Pranam Jugala Kishore. जीवने मरने गति और नहीं मोह. जीवने मरने गति और नहीं मोह. राधा कृष्ण प्रणम जुगल किशोर. राधा कृष्ण प्रणम जुगल किशोर. राधा कृष्ण प्रणम जुगल किशोर. गोविंदम आदिपुरुषं भजामि. गोविंदम आदिपुरुषं भजामि. गोविंदम आदिपुरुषं भजामि. वेणुवनान्तं अरविन्ददलायताक्षं भावतां हसिताम्बुज सुन्दराङ्गं. कन्दर्पकोटिकमनीय विशेषशोभा. गोविन्द आदिपुरुषं भजामि. गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं भजामि. गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं भजामि. अङ्गनीयस्य सकलेन्द्रिय वृत्तिमन्ति. पाश्यन्ति पान्ति कलायन्ति चिरमं जगन्ति. आनन्दचिन्मय सत् उज्ज्वल विग्रहस्य. गोविन्द आदिपुरुषं भजामि. गोविन्द आदिपुरुषं भजामि. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा. जय श्री राम. Satyadev Prabuji, Prabuji, you would want to do one bhajan?
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji. This morning somehow I missed my turn. Forgive me, everybody, Prabhujis and Matajis. So I think we have only 2 minutes time. I think Mataji. So Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, back to you. Hare Krishna. We are done.
Go ahead, Satyadev Prabhuji. Go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Charu Prabhu. Sorry, I didn't. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
It's a little longer song, Prabhu. So maybe I will do next week then. Huh? Should I? You should do.
Not too long. Not too long.
Yeah. So. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण। हरि है दयाल मोरे जय राधा माधव। हरि है दयाल मोरे जय राधा माधव। भारो भारो ए भारो लोहरी जसा हरि है दयाल मोरे जय राधा माधव। भारो भारो ए भारो लोहरी जसा बहुयोनि ब्रह्मीनाथ लोहिनी शरण निज गुणे कृपा कोरो आधमातन जगत करुण तुमी जगत जीवन तोम चढ़ कर नाही हे राधा रमण भुवन मंगल तुमी भुवने भाती तुम्ही उपेकिले नाथ की होई बेगाती भाविया देखिलो ए जगत मजारी तुम बिना के हो नाही ए दासा उद्धारी तुम बिना के हो नाही ए दासा उद्धारी। हरि है दयाल मोरे जय राधा माधव। भारो भारो ए भारो लोहरी जसा। हरे कृष्णा। O Hari, O merciful Lord, all glories to you. O Lord of Radha, again and again I have pleaded with you, and now I beg you yet again to accept me as your own. O Lord, hopelessly taking birth over and over, I have now come to you for refuge. Please show your merciful nature and deliver this wretched soul. You are the cause of the universe and its very life. Other than you, O lover of Radha, there is no shelter. You bring about auspiciousness for the world, and you are the master of all the worlds as well. O Lord, what will become of me if you forsake me? I have understood, after contemplating my predicament, that within this world, there is no one who can deliver this servant but you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Forgive me for the delay from my side. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
No problem, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All worship Prabhupada. Yes, Devam. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Slakaya Chakshunritam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayitam Dadati Swadantam Vandeham Shri Guru Shruta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deepabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Yascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavaribhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Purna Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Dhamne Gaur Krishna Nama. O most merciful incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributed your love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisances to you. Krishna Varnam Kusha Krishnam Sarvapanyostapashtam Yagna Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregation chanting to worship the incarnate of Godhead, constantly sing the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not black, is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, weapons, confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnai Punau Shadadharma Samsthapato Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuane Manyo Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Anande Namatariko Vande Sanatana Raghugo Shri Gopalako. I offer respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing all the revealed, studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are engaged. They are taking shelter of absorbed in the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritya Naro Jainita Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhiraya Nashtakayeshwa Bhakteshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Krishna. Again, please accept my obeisances or Shri Prabhupada. Welcome back. So, before I begin, let's see who is going to recap what we covered yesterday. I'm going to start from
Nityasati Mataji will be giving the synopsis.
Hare Krishna, Nanda Pranam Prabuji. Am I audible properly?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam. We are going through Narada Bhakti Sutra, chapter 2. His Grace Charuchandra Prabuji have completed lesson 5 up till now, and today will be lesson 6. And lessons 4 to 6, which are included in chapter 2, they are defining Bhakti as per Narada Bhakti Sutra. Lesson 5, it dealt with pure Bhakti, isn't it? And it included the sutras 22 to 25. So these 4 sutras, they were completed yesterday as per lesson 5. So 22nd sutra, it is like gopis were aware of Lord's majesty, awe and reverence, that is Eshwarinyan, but it was Visnuti Apavad. Here Narad Muni is trying to reply to Purva Pakshis who used to claim that, or who will claim that Gopi's love to Krishna is like the love of young boy with the young boy. So, and it was that Gopi's love, it was uninformed. So here we can understand through this Sutra 22 as per explanations by Acharyas that gopis were aware of Lord Krishna's greatness, that is Aishwarya. But it was due to their Madhurya Ras, it was overshadowed. Okay, so it has overshadowed Krishna's majesty and opulence. So in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as Prabuji explained yesterday, that we do see so many pastimes of Lord Krishna, like what it did at Kaliya, Vad, and lifting of Govardhana hill, etc. So it was not possible to any ordinary boy, but for Lord Krishna, it was quite an easy task. So gopis were aware of his divinity, but their conjugal mood overpowered it. Okay, so Gopi's love, it was on spiritual level. So conjugal mood, it has overpowered the knowledge. So we do see that Gopi's love to Lord Krishna, it was the natural inclination to their beloved, and it was just, it did not consider any wealth of Lord Krishna. So playing the flute, gopis used to run to Krishna, and they did not care about any Vedic injunction or elderly indulgence, and they transgressed. So it was such an intense love of gopis with Lord Krishna. And when Krishna desired for rasa dance, so they met in union to Lord Krishna, as well as in separation. In Vipralambha, we see that gopis, how they were in pain of separation. So it has been that, yes, Narada Muni, as well as Uddhava, as well as Shukadev Goswami, as well as Vyasadeva, all they do glorify this transcendental perfection of gopis. So the conclusion is we should not consider it as a mundane love affair, even though superficially it may seems to be. So in 23rd Sutra, so we see that what it shows is that Gopi's loving exchanges with Krishna have nothing to do with mundane lust, despite it may seem to. So most of the time, the conditioned soul mistakes them as ordinary lusty affair. So as we know, lust is a manifestation of a material body, and we know Krishna's body is spiritual one, and gopis, they are also spiritual. So in that, we do see that Prabhuji also explained that Lord Chaitanya also used to glorify this with his intimate devotees and not in public. So gopis had spiritual body and they were not in mode of passion. So Shukadev Goswami, while explaining to Parikshit Maharaj about Ras Leela, that how gopis got liberation by thinking of a paramat. So, in whatever mood we are, so Krishna Katha will purify everyone's mind. And how Krishna was so pure, and gopis love, and gopis also realized that it was the example given by His Grace Charuchandra Prabuji of Durvasa Muni. So all gopis, they went to river and swear that Krishna is born as celibate. So Lord Krishna and gopis love, it was so pure. So one should also purify our desires, and they will get obviously purified by Lord Krishna. Like the gopis, even though they were married, they had so-called husbands, but still their desires got purified. So here, gopis love, it is the manifestation of Alladini Shakti, Ladini Shakti. That is gopis, they are nothing but they are the eternal consorts of Lord Krishna, and they are descended here so as to do the Leela and Bhauma Vrindavan. So most of the time people, they do get confused that why Krishna does such acts like the immoral person. So it is quite confusing to most of them. Yes, Lord knows our heart, is there in our heart. And what pure love is? Anyabhilashita shinyam, jnana karmadi anavrutam, anukulena krishnanushilanam, bhakti ruttama. So without any desire, if one is anavrutam, without any jnana karma mishra bhakti, if one is doing bhakti of Lord Krishna, then one gets purified. So next in 24th shloka, yes, we can see clearly the distinction between kama and prema. Kama means lust, and here it is being clearly distinguished. And so we should align our pleasures with Krishna's pleasure. So it has been, in a nutshell, it has been said. In such false devotion, one does not find pleasure exclusively in the Lord's pleasure. So as it has been seen that Lord is so attractive, he performed Brahma Vimohan Leela, and it is such a selfless love we do find in Krishna's pastimes. So loving Krishna means loving everyone. And it is the happiness, it is in distress, as gopis felt. When they were in separation, they felt lots of pains. And so it is the joys of gopis, they were in the joys of Krishna. So we can follow that the pure devotion is far more superior. So 25th Sutra, it shows that pure bhakti is far superior than the fruity work, than any philosophical speculations and meditation, mystic meditations, etc. It is far more superior than karma, jnana, and yoga. So it is on such a platform. So bhakti is the most auspicious, it is more superior, and here lesson 6 will be also dealing on that. Yes, Lord, what Lord says is yat karoshi yat asnasi. Whatever you do, you offer your karmas, whatever you do, you offer it to me. So it has been said that Lord's devotee is so rare, is Mahatma Sudurlabha, as explained by Prabuji yesterday. How we should keep our mood is like manmanabhav madbhakto madhyajiya namaskuru. And what Lord says is, you surrender all your religions and give up all your religions and submit to me. Sarvadharmam paritejya mamekam sharanam vaj. Aham samsarapapete mokshe shami masucha. So bhakti is so auspicious, so supreme, and so pure love to Lord is so great. So it has been explained in lesson 5. So today we'll go for lesson 6, where more about bhakti will be elaborated by His Grace Charuchandra.
Thank you very much, Bhakti Mataji. So beautifully done. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Oh, dear Shankar, so let me first share my screen with you. All right. So everybody can see the screen. So this is chapter 2 and unit 2. Tomorrow, I mean next week, Prabuji will be beginning with in third theme, lessons 7 and 8. So today I will do lesson 6 and Sutras 26, 33. And the underlying theme is that pure bhakti rendered with the utmost humility, dainya-bhāva, beyond the ordinary humility we're talking about here, extreme. That is the fruit of all endeavor, all our trials, all our attempts. So now, so this is what lesson 6, Sutras 26 to 33, pure bhakti rendered by our senses and the mind, the soul, the utmost humility, that is the fruit of all endeavor. So the underlying emphasis is on this bhakti, pure bhakti, unalloyed bhakti, must be rendered with utmost humility, thinking oneself so insignificant. Because everything is given to us, nothing belongs to us. It's not about smartness, not about hard work. Anything what we do, there is as a result of what we gain from Lord Krishna. So that's why automatically then the dainya-bhāva will come. And even little thing we do, Krishna amplifies and he gives the credit to us actually, That is what Krishna's magnanimity. Everything is given by him. So this one, what I designed, a way to show you the overall themes of all these sutras, number 26 to 33, okay? About 7 sutras, 8 sutras, I suppose. So this is what you see here is the underlying message. And then we'll go a little deeper into these 8 sutras. And I'm a little conscious because I want to give Sharad Prabuji the time he requested yesterday, because he's going to tell us something really extraordinary. So I'm going to try my level best to finish in time, so he would have at least 15-20 minutes. Okay? So Sutra number 26, what it says, Narada Muni, after all this thing we have discussed, in bhakti, that is the fruit of all our attempts, all our endeavor. Everything begins with bhakti, everything ends with bhakti. No matter which route we may choose, karma, dhyana, yoga, ultimately it must end into the bhakti process, our surrendering process. Otherwise, it has no meaning to it. So beginning and end, it's the process, means by which we attain the end. The end is also getting bhakti. Okay? That is underlying of that text, Sutra number 26. Now, Sutra number 27, what does it say? That the Lord really, he is not very, very appreciative if we are too proud of our accomplishments, not knowing that ultimately that has come through him. So if we have this false pride that we develop, then he does not like that. He really appreciates, he is looking forward to see within us that the bhav of this humility. So that is the message, Sutra 27. And remember, Anukulayana Krishna, what Krishna desires, we ought to do. And he desires that dainya-bhāva. 28, now what we are going to see, 29, 29, 30, different opinions about whether jnana comes first or bhakti comes first. Okay? And so the two ends of the spectrum we are going to see. One end of the spectrum, those jnanis particularly, they insist that unless we have this Atma Jnana, we cannot make even a beginning of bhakti. Jnana means we are not this body, we are spirit soul. That's what their subscription, their interpretation. So that's the one end. And the other one is saying that they don't emphasize too much on jnana. Nonetheless, they say that jnana and bhakti both have an interdependent relationship. In other words, they are saying bhakti is not really independent. You need to have jnana, and jnana mixed with bhakti, then bhakti can be progressed further. But Narada Muni disagrees. In Sutra 30, he said, no, actually, bhakti begets bhakti. From bhakti, we get bhakti. Okay? Bhakti is totally independent. In fact, jnana comes from bhakti. Jnana and vairagya both comes from. You'll see a particular verse Narada Muni is quoting there. In fact, Srila Prabhupada is quoting that. Okay? So bhakti is the means, videya, process, and the result is also bhakti. So bhakti, from bhakti comes bhakti. And then text 31, 32, Narada Muni cites an analogy for us to understand. A great emperor, he might have a huge palace with all different kinds of vyanjanas, items, food, but just going into the huge palace, the food is being served on the table, and if he doesn't get to eat, then what use of that? His hunger cannot be satisfied just by having that. So that is the analogy. And the Sutra number 33, the last today, that now we'll see back to the Rajagopis. They really embody, they personify the kind of bhakti that we are talking about. Okay? So their interest completely becomes that of Krishna. Like, unlike most of us, sometimes we have interest different from Krishna. Okay? Even though we like to pray to Krishna, but we bring in our own self-interest in between. But that is not what the gopis. Whatever Krishna desires, whatever Krishna has interest in his heart and mind, that is what these gopis are aiming for that. So that is what we are going to be talking about. Now we got the overall picture of today's lesson. So now first in this particular slide, we look at the Sanskrit, the sutras in Sanskrit and its translation. And then we'll talk about the discussion of each of these verses. And again, I'm going to be try to be very brief as possible, so I could give maximum time. Sure, because I'm really looking forward to hear what he has to say. Sutra number 26. Phala rupatva. Just one word. Okay? It's a composite word, but in one word it says a lot of things. Phala means the result of whatever we are doing. So phala rupa, form of that. So bhakti is the fruit of all our endeavors. No matter, even if we choose to go through a jnana route, or karma route, or the jnana, or the meditation route, they all must end ultimately in the surrendering process to the Lord. If it doesn't, then it's all waste of all our energy. So phala, ultimate end, ultimate fruit, that must also result in that bhakti. That is the really what we ought to endeavor for that. Then text 727, Ishwarasya api abhimani dveshvitvad. Ishwarasya api abhimani dveshvitvad. Krishna does not like that abhimana, false pride. Dvesha means he's against that. You know? But what he is for He's formed with dainya-priya. Dainya-priyatva. Dainya-bhāva is extreme unity. That is very priya to him, very dear to him. So the Lord dislikes this false pride in us, but He is pleased when we come to Him in this dainya-bhāva. Sutra number 28. Tasya jnanam eva. Tasya jnanam eva. Tasya means that. Jnanam means this. We are going to see the opinion of different schools of thought. Here we are seeing the opinion of those jnanis who emphasize that without having this Atma Jnana, we cannot make even a start of Bhakti. So Bhakti is subservient to Jnana. That's what they subscribe to that. Tasya Jnanam eva sadhanam. Through this Jnana, sadhanam means that is our tool. Unless we have that, we cannot accomplish. So Jnanam as a sadhanam, as a tool, then so eka, something like that. Some say that knowledge is the means of developing devotion. So that's one school of thought. Now another school of thought. Anyo anya. Anyo anya means others who consider that. Eka means consider that. What do they consider? Anyo anya means it's a paraspara, mutual. So they are in some kind of in the middle. So both jnana and bhakti, they are interdependent. Without jnana, we cannot get bhakti, and without bhakti, we cannot get jnana. So they are in the middle ground. Now the third sutra, number 29. That's what we are talking about. Sutra number 30. So what Narada is saying, Swayam. Swayam means who is Swayam? Who is that Bhakti? Bhakti itself, Phala Rupeti. Bhakti itself is the fruit of Bhakti. There is a Brahma Kumara. He is the son of Lord Brahma. He is the Manas Putra, one of the 10 Manas Putras of Lord Brahma. No? So Narada Muni is saying that the Bhakti, it's his own fruit. It's the seed and it's fruit both. Completely different from the two other school of thoughts. Okay? And then, of course, the analogy that I already discussed with you. The big emperor, he made a big palace, and all the different varieties of food always being served, chappan bhogas. All these entries are there, but just looking at that itself, with elaborate presentation of the food to him, and if he's not able to eat, then how is he going to satisfy his hunger? So that's the same way here also. All these things are there, bhakti. Without bhakti, it does not have any meaning to it. And the last, asmat saiva grahiya. Tasmat, that's what we are talking about. Therefore, saeva, that itself, grahiya, mumukshivi. So, one who desires liberation from material existence is so fed up with all material sufferings. And he says, now please get me free from these material miseries that I'm going through, that I'm sick and tired of it. So if those people who desire that, Narada Muni is saying that they must take up the devotional service. So this is what the Sanskrit and its translation. So now we discuss this one by one. So Sutra number 26. After all, bhakti is the fruit of all endeavor. Phala rupatvat. Okay? So bhakti is more than a process, Prabhupada writes here, leading to a result. So it is the beginning, okay, the aim, target, and the process to get at the target. So target is bhakti, to get at that is also bhakti, okay, the process. So it is the constitutional nature the living being. In fact, this is exactly what Jaiva Dharma is all about. The Dharma of the soul, Jiva. Now, one has to understand what is, we may get confused about it. Jiva is the Jivatma. We are the soul, but we have this body. Okay? The soul is pure, always, transcendental, Sat Chit Ananda. But when the soul has to accept material body, that means must have some kind of desires. So his body might be demanding something else. The soul wants something else. Soul wants to go back to Krishna. He wants to go back, but his body denies that. So when he is in that kind of a dilemma, okay, what to do? But here, what we are learning in this text and the whole Jaiva Dharma that we are going to be aiming for that. It's a 48 lesson, huge course. This is the one which I talk about. This Narada Bhakti is only 12 lessons. So 4 times to that, But ultimately, Jaiva Dharma is all about that, teaching us what is the Nitya Dharma versus Naimitika Dharma. So Nitya Dharma or ultimate Dharma. First of all, what is Dharma? Dharma means it's not just religion. Dharma means what exactly what's the Swarupa Lakshana? How we can uniquely describe that. Now, what is, for instance, water? What is the Dharma of the water? Water is to wet something. Right? What is the Dharma of the fire? Fire is to burn something, by which you can describe uniquely that the quality of that. That is what Dharma is all about. So, what is the ultimate Dharma about our soul? There is this Nitya Dharma, that we are part and parcel. We came from Krishna and we want to go back to Krishna through this bhakti process. So that is our Nitya Dharma. And that is what Jaiva Dharma really talk about. But when he gets the body, material body, because the previous previous samskaras, in our self-interest, then it puts the soul in dilemma. So he gets wrong conception of, no, I must do this, I must do that. That is the Naimitika Dharma, which is not eternal, it's finite, and it's horrible. The word horrible is used actually in the translation Jaiva Dharma, we will see that. So we should know what is our ultimate Dharma, what is our ultimate characteristics as a soul. And that is, we came from Krishna, we want to go back to Krishna, and that's what bhakti process. So all other routes of going to the same destination, jnana, karma, and yoga, meditation, they also ultimately going to take us to that ultimate destination. But ultimate destination, you must come to bhakti. Otherwise, all these 3 processes are of no use. So unless they are dovetailed with bhakti somehow or other, it's not going to succeed. Then at the beginning of Vaidhi Bhakti, we are talking about, now we are talking about devotional service, right? So originally, in the beginning, our senses are so contaminated with material dirt within us, inauspicious things from our heart. It must be purified. Then only can approach Krishna. So then this Vaidhi sadhana, what 3 components of that? 1, we must purify our senses and the mind. There are 10 senses, 5 Jnanendriya and 5 Karmendriya. The 11th is the mind. All these 3 must be purified. How? What is the process for that? And that is through bhakti. So we are not inclined, we don't have a taste for bhakti. So then we have to follow a certain process, recommended process, a potent process that it works. It's proven to be worked, and that is through Shastric injunction. So ultimately, scriptures came from the lotus mouth of Krishna. So we have to follow that. But the problem with Shastra, there are built-in contradictions are there. They're context-driven. And we don't have a sufficient intelligence to understand that. We get confused when we face with contradictions, right? So then we need some professional help. That is, we need a professor, a spiritual master. So spiritual master tells us that, and we are surrendered to that. So we are under the obligation that we follow according to him. So here we are dependent on that. Okay? So that is why the Bhakti is all about. So the emphasis on performing, so this is an obligatory practice. We are not doing because of our own interest, but we want to get to that destination, This is the only train available. We got the seat reservation on this train, only we have to take, whether we like the seat or not, but that's the only one. Okay? So that's we are under that obligation. So then, because we surrender to our Guru, so whatever Guru recommends, we follow that process. Slowly, eventually we will understand Guru really is doing for our own benefit. He's helping us to go to that particular destination. Okay? So at the start, we have that, by obligation we follow, but eventually we develop the taste, our own taste. So at the start, it is on the soul's door. And that is something that is amazing, beautiful thing about it, that this is something which is there, already there in our heart, is dormant. Just like a child, Prabhupada gives an example, a child learning to walk, it's not something that he's learning from his flesh, because he has done that in previous lives. He has to be reminded that. So mother or father helps him how to walk, and he immediately picks it up. As like a inert, instinctively he picks it up, like that. So this dormant desire has to be reawakened. And this is the Bhakti process allows us to do that. Therefore, Bhakti is both the means, the process, and the ultimate destination. Through that, we can approach Krishna. So, what is our dharma? This particular verse gives us that. Jiver Swarupa hai, Swarup Lakshana, the unique characteristics by which we can define our dharma. Dharma of who? Dharma of our soul. Swarupa hai, what is that? Krishner Nityadas. That is our pehchan. That is our identification. So we have that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are meant to serve him. That is our defining characteristics, our dharma. So it is the living at its constitutional position, and the Jaiva Dharma, what is translated, that is the constitutional duty, the soul, that teaches us the entire course that we will go through that. So that we are this eternal servant of Krishna, and he is a very loving father to us. Right? He is the marginal. So this Jiva, Lord has three energies: internal energy, external energy, that's Maya. Internal energy is, of course, that's his three Shaktis, internal process. And then we are the in between, marginal potency, Tatastha energy. So we are that. And manifestation simultaneously, one with and different from the Lord. We are just like Lord is Satchit Ananda. Qualitatively, we are just like him. We are also Satchit Ananda. But he is Vibhu, and we are Anu. He is unlimited. We are limited. The difference is like fire and spark of the fire. Okay? Sun and its rays, like that. So we are qualitatively very similar, but quantitatively we are so infinitely small part of Krishna. So Krishna has these three varieties of energy. So the practice, what is the practice of devotional service? Bhakti. There is not that developing something artificial. Like I said, it is dormant within us. It's going on through the billions of lifetimes before. We already done so many times. We just forgotten, but it is there in our heart. It needs to be reawakened by this potent process. We'll go to the next. Sutra number 27. Furthermore, the Lord disliked the proud. So that's what we saw that, right? That Krishna does not like in us. He's hoping that we would go back to him, but not through this self-pride. Unless the self-pride gets dissolved, he cannot accept us. Although he is very, very anxious for us to go back to him, but we have to drop that. So he is pleased when we develop this dainya-bhāva. So that's a surrendering process. Unless we have this dainya-bhāva, we cannot unconditionally surrender, right? So what is the surrendering process? That is the utmost humility that we must do. So there are 6 ways of doing that. First, accepting things that are favorable to devotional service. Anukulayeno Krishnano. Whatever Krishna likes, that's the way we have to do that. So those things we must accept that he likes. And those things that he does not like, that is unfavorable to him, that we must avoid. Okay? Third, believing firmly in Lord's protection. See, that's what I said, the email I sent you this morning to all of you in proposing this 4th course, and you might all be wondering, is this guy crazy or what? Already I proposed 3 courses, and now he's talking about 4th, and he barely started the first one, and all he wants to accomplish in this 1 year. Am I crazy or what? So, but what I'm doing, I'm daring. It's no doubt, undoubtedly, it's a very, very ambitious desire. I have that, but I'm doing on the strength of my faith and conviction that the Lord is going to protect me because I'm working for him, and he's going to give me whatever I need. He's going to empower me, even though I'm such a limited fellow, So that's on that strength I'm going forward. Believing firmly for the Lord's protection. 4th, feeling exclusively dependent on the mercy of the Lord. That's what I said. Faith and conviction, he will protect me from all the impediments, obstructions on my path, and he will give me whatever the tools, all the necessary tools that I need, and he will give me he will strengthen my faith in him. My faith is there, but he is the one who is going to strengthen my faith. Now, and then 5th, having no separate interest from what the Lord desires. I should not interfere, contaminate with my ultimate desire to go to him with other selfish desire I might have. So that has to be suppressed. That has to be abolished. And this important process allows us to do that. This surrendering process. When we trust someone, we live our life in their hand, in his hand. Only we can do that when we know 100% faith in him that he is going to take care of me. So, and then 6th, the final, the most important one, always feeling very meek. That was for there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's 6 Shastakam, 8 slokas, one of that is said that actually, that we must feel like that, always was insignificant like a blade of grass, and always depend on him. That's what it is. Tarorapi means the plant. Always in Shaishnava, that kind of dependence on that, very, very satisfaction. That's the kind of approach we must have. Whatever one's prowess, we may have good birth, born in a good family, we may have a good look, good education, fame, people like us, all these things. All these things that we may have, learning we possess, is nothing to be proud of that. It is only by Krishna's mercy that we are born into a good family. We develop good look, and we get good education, good intelligence, all these things. ultimately comes from him. Because it is all by the mercy of the Lord, and that is meant, it is given also second most important. First, it is given to us. Second, that whatever is given to us is not for our self-interest, but for his purpose. Arjuna was a great warrior, but his warrior abilities were given to him to fight Mahabharata war, so that Krishna could install a righteous king in Yudhishthira Maharaj. So that is what Arjuna. When all thing was accomplished, when there was no more needed, that fighting ability was taken back by Krishna. Then he was defeated by just a group of. He was a Maharathi. He was able to defeat 10,000 warriors at the same time, single-handedly. But all these abilities were gone when the Mahabharata war was over. He was returning back when Krishna left his planet, and Krishna asked him to take all his queens back to Indraprastha. So on the way in the jungle, in the forest, he was defeated by just a handful of these fellows, and he could not defeat him. That's what it is. So all the abilities given to us, we utilize for him. So when it is over and no more is needed, he will take it away. The example I gave you about Arjuna. When he realizes Gandhi, the bow, powerful bow that was not useful to him, he drops it in the Red Ocean. No more needed. At any point, a devotee becomes proud of being this distinguished Vaishnava, then he has developed an anartha. Artha means meaning. Anartha, opposite of it. It has no meaning. No. So that is what we must understand here. So Bhakti Yoga is the best way to cultivate this humility. We need to have humility to practice Bhakti, and through Bhakti we get humility. It's amazing. 27. Furthermore, the Lord disliked the proud, but is pleased with the humbleness. So the 6 aspects of full surrender that we just talked about that. So Indra, this is the example Prabhupada cites. Remember Indra, he became too proud of his power, and when he saw that the Brajvasis, they used to perform Indra Yajna every year to appease him. But this year, when Krishna told them that no, you don't need to do that, So when Krishna had them stop performing this Indra Yajna, Indra became very, very angry, and he wanted to really inundate with this torrential rain, 7 days, 7 nights. But then what did he say? Krishna protected all the Brajvasis by lifting the Govardhan hill like an umbrella. Then his pride got melted. He realized he's no power. His power actually came from Krishna. When he misutilized power, Krishna took it back. So that's what Indra is saying. He's feeling very sorry for that, what he did. So wherever there is a relationship of love of God, its natural symptom is that the devotee does not think himself a devotee. So dainya-bhāva to what extent really? A devotee, a great devotee, even Radharani, she said, I don't have that bhakti. I'm trying to be a devotee. I'm not a real devotee. Even though he or she may be very advanced devotee. So that is the level of dainya-bhāva we need to cultivate. Okay, let's take 5 minutes break. Right, just about 1 minute. Thirty seconds. All right. So now Sutra number 28. Some say that the knowledge is the means for developing devotion. One end of the spectrum was Gyanis, So here, is bhakti based on knowledge? The Prabhupada is asking the question, The answer will depend on how we define knowledge. Okay. Now, knowledge, that is what is mentioned here, is that speculative knowledge, philosophical knowledge, okay? Because that is not based on Shastra. So knowledge is based on Shastra, that knowledge is about Krishna, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. So Jnanam is important, that particular Jnanam about knowledge about Krishna, but the realization of that is even more important, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. So that we need that, okay? And that also comes from him, through hearing about him. And that's he takes away the influence of the lower motion material nature, and then all the inauspicious in our heart, it takes it away. Okay? And then we get installed into mode of goodness. Evam prasanna manaso. And when we have come to that level, then only we are qualified to practice pure bhakti. And when we do that, then we get this Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. What is its power? Chindyate sarva samshaya, vidyate hridaya granthi, shiyante chasya karmani, drasht evat manishvara. So that Bhagavad Vijnana about science of Krishna, we need that. But we don't want any speculative knowledge of our own. That's what is given there. That we must give up. So that's the crucial element of the Vijnana. Indeed, throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives Arjuna essential knowledge. So did Lord Chaitanya through Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati, and Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. So the practice of this knowledge helps us develop this Bhakti Yoga. We need that. However, it is the knowledge based on, if it is based on mental speculation, then it prohibits, it is not useful to us in cultivating Krishna consciousness. That you must understand that. So we must really differentiate what kind of knowledge we are talking about. Okay? Then this 127 on Bhagavatam, by rendering devotions unto the personal Godhead, Krishna, one immediately acquires, so whatever the knowledge that is required, that comes through as a result of the bhakti. That is a verse here. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Jarayati Asu Vairagya. That required knowledge is born of this bhakti. And Jnanam cha yat ahetukam. Whatever that particular knowledge that's required, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, as well as necessary renunciation, which I translate, necessary sacrifices that we need to make, all comes from bhakti. So by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires that causeless knowledge and the detachment from this world. So we don't have to make separate attempt to It's part of that bhakti process we get that. So bhakti is not dependent on jnana. Jnana is dependent on bhakti on the other hand. Sutra number 29. Others consider bhakti and the knowledge interdependent. That is also not true. Some think bhakti and jnana as separate or in opposition to each other, but study of Vedanta is not in opposition to bhakti yoga, because these jnanis, they used to always, boast of their this Vedantic knowledge, so they are on the wrong path. So the Vaishnava Acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Baladev Vidyabhushan, they all wrote commentaries on this Vedanta Sutra. However, jnana and bhakti is not interdependent. Yogamaya sometimes covers a devotee's knowledge. We saw that just yesterday, right? Gopis did not go to the school or something like that. Everything that is needed was given to them by Krishna. In fact, that Aishwarya Jnana was suppressed because of their Madhurya Rasa. Very clear cut is given to us. Then Sutra 30. So the Narada Muni, he is telling that bhakti itself is the process, means by which to get to a target. That is also bhakti. So bhakti is not dependent on anything for nourishment. Rather, bhakti begets bhakti. The chanting of Hare Krishna is directly enacted from the spiritual platform, surpassing all lower stages of consciousness. All the inauspicious elements in our heart is removed. Shrunatam Swagata Krishna, Puni Shravana Kirtana, Hridiyantastva Bhadrani. Everything is removed by Krishna, who is sitting in our heart as a super soul. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Sloke, Bhakti Bhavati Nashta. Evam Prasidna Manaso, Bhagavad Bhakti Pirojita, that is what. And then Bhagavad Tattva Jnanam. Then what happened? Vidyate Hriday Granthis, Chindite Sarasamshaya, Chiyante Chasya Karmani, Krishna Evatman Vishwara. So this everything comes simply by hearing about Krishna. That is the potent process of it. Then he himself takes care of it, cleansing the mirror of our heart, removing the influence of the lowermost nature. And he establishes this pure mode of goodness. And that time the pure bhakti begins actually the process. And then Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana automatically enters in our heart. And all the tight note that we have, the great attraction for material desires, everything is dissolved. And then Shriyante Chasyatarmani, all the karmic bondage, that is gone. Shriyante Chasyatarmani. Drasht Evat Punchaya. Then the realization comes to us who we are. We are not body, we are spirit soul. So automatically it comes as the fruit of the bhakti. And we are meant to serve him. Drasht Evat Punchaya. So everything is given to us. So why won't the dainya-bhāva would come to us when we realize nothing of our own efforts? If everything is given to us. So then the dainya-bhāva develops in our heart. And that's what Krishna is looking for. So just as no one can help, so as no one can stop Narada from his free movement, so Narada can freely go anywhere else in the three worlds. That is what Krishna has given him there. Similar devotee association also is free. Freedom is the main point in bhakti. 31, 32, and that's the example I explained very well, so I won't go into it. 33, therefore seekers of the liberation should take the devotional service alone. So we don't need anything else but bhakti itself. Someone may say that aside from devotees who always seek shelter in the lotus feet, there are those who are not devotees, but who have accepted different processes for attaining salvation. What happens to them? So in our answer to this question, Lord Brahma and the other demigods said, "O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, but their intelligence is not pure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lowest form. Then, oh Almighty Lord, I have no desire for. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, "Na dhanam na sundari." No, that you're all familiar with that. The last one, a person acting in the service of Krishna, his body, mind, and intelligence, one vachana and karma. The world is liberated. So even then, if we do that, even if we have his material body, we live in material world, we remain completely untouched by that. We become Jivan Mukta, that lotus plant growing in the muddy water. So a person acting in the service of Krishna, which is man, vachana, and karma, is liberated person even within this material world, although he may engage in many apparently material activities. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So that's the end of it. So I hope we have enough time for Sharad Prabuji. So before Sharad Prabuji, I turn it over to Sharad Prabuji. Let's see if there are any questions on what I just presented to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks for wonderful class, Prabhu. Yes. Prabhu, so I have a little bit confusion here. I mean, Bhakti is independent. That is what we say, Prabhu, as per your explanation. And other way, we are saying that Bhakti we can achieve by practicing like sadhana Bhakti or this stuff. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is saying that, Guru Krishna Prasadipai Bhakti Lata Bij. So we can say that also. And we praying to the Tulsi Maharani. He is a Bhakti Devi, we are saying. Yeah. Bhakti can be accepting by worshipping Tulsi Maharani's mercy also, we are saying. So, other hand, in the whole, even Madhuri Kadambani also, a few years back I attended there. Again, we are learning in the upcoming classes. There also it is saying that Bhakti is independent. It is not depend on any of the stuffs. So how we can comprehend this one, Prabhu? How we can understand? Could you please, if you can, that would be great. Thank you.
Question, whatever you just described just now, that we really pray to Tulsi Devi, and all, there is also there's a part of our Bhakti. Tulsi Devi, we ask for our help to move forward. So Tulsi Devi is helping us. So we approach Tulsi Devi also with this dainya-bhāva, So all these things, most that we are talking about, they're all part and parcel of this Bhakti process itself. So Bhakti is not dependent anything on our own these things, that it's part of the process that we depend on Krishna, Tulsi Devi, and his devotees, his advanced devotees, Sadhu Sangha, that Madhuri Kadam we talking about. First of all, you must have Adau Shraddha. That Shraddha must be there, and the faith must be rooted, deeply rooted in Shastra. Shastra what? So scriptures, we must depend on that. No, there is our playbook. See, in the game, our coach is going to tell us, it tells us, right, that this is the playbook. I'll come up with a strategy, you follow that, and you will win the game. So we follow the scriptures, and through which we develop our Shraddha. And Shraddha leads us what? Then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, and all this process goes through, right? Nishtha Bhakti, Asakti, and all these things. Everything is developed with that. So these are all the links of Bhakti. So there is no contradiction that I see here, unless I fail to understand what exactly the question is about. So, Prabhuji, Raju Prabhuji, can you explain what is the difficulty in that understanding? Prabhu?
Hari Bol, Prabhu. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, I can.
I think someone can go. Now I'll park my car and I'll get back to my questions.
Looks
Someone
like I
can go.
probably I didn't satisfy your question then. I didn't answer the question. Okay, we'll pick it up. Anybody else? Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavot Pranam Prabhu.
Dandavot Pranam, Prabhu.
Okay, as usual, such a wonderful session, Prabhu. So what I understand is the process is also bhakti, and finally what you are getting is also a bhakti. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And jnani is also coming from bhakti. That is what also I understood, Prabhu. Yeah. That is
Jnana
your
comes
summary.
from
Jnana also comes from bhakti. That is something completely a new learning, Prabhu. So my understanding was like through jnana, bhakti will come. But
yeah.
hello, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. I have a question on the slide number 5, Prabhu. Okay. Yeah. So it is mentioned that bhakti is more than a process leading to a result. Okay. Bhakti is more than a process leading to a result. So that is where we are saying that
it's not just the process, but the end result is also bhakti.
Bhakti. Okay. It is not just a process. Process is also bhakti and results is also bhakti. Okay. It is a conscious nature of the living being. Okay. Okay. Prabhu, one small point, Prabhu. You want to give an example saying that jnana is a result of bhakti. Okay. Or sorry, jnana is also coming from bhakti. You want to give an example, Prabhu. Some little clarity is required, Prabhu. Over there.
That Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, how do we get there? Simply hearing about Krishna, then whatever preventing us to get that jnana, that elements Krishna removes it from our path, you know. So Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam comes from that, by that process. Simply hearing about him and depending on him, faith in him, with the help of other devotees, then we make progress. Nashti Prayeshwa Bhadreshu, Abhadra, all these elements that were stopping us to get that jnana, removed that. Jnana means Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, the realization of who Krishna is, the science of him. Then we get that. So that is the most powerful group of verses that tells us that jnana comes from that. And when jnana comes, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana comes, then all this tight road, that we have great attraction for this material desire, automatically is dissolved by the powerful process of the bhakti, by the powerful process of chanting Hare Krishna, by the powerful process of hearing about him in the company of other devotees that facilitates the process. And we get this Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, the necessary vairagya, automatically. So the example is given. When we are terribly hungry, and when we eat food, what does it do that? It immediately satisfies the pain of hunger, right? Hunger pains are dissolved, and completely we get satisfaction. So here also, necessary jnanam we get, and the necessary thing that we need to give up, that also comes to the jnana vairagya automatically. Janayati also, immediately. It's a very quick process actually. Immediately everything comes to us. Automatically the hunger pain is dissolved. The nutrition we get that as soon as the food is available to us. You know? So there's a powerful example. There's a process of hearing about Krishna. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, we get it. But on our own efforts, philosophically we think about it, independent of Shastra, then there's every chance we get wrong knowledge. We get lost. You know? So that is what published the 5 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verses 17 to 21, tells us that. precisely, logically explains to us that Jnanam comes from Bhakti. And that is given to us by Krishna.
Understood, Prabhu. Because like once you start chanting, everything will be revealed. Got it,
Bhakti is the
Prabhu.
goal.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Bhakti is the goal, right? Prema Bhakti is the goal. And right now, because of our impure senses in the mind, we are not able to get at that. So we take help of Bhakti to get to the Bhakti.
Very nice. You take the help of Bhakti to get Bhakti.
Yeah.
You chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that you chant pure at some point of time.
So at that
Yeah.
point, when we begin chanting,
Yeah.
we are not yet in Bhakti platform, but we take help of that Bhakti process, hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna. So see that we don't have the Bhakti, but we take help of Bhakti to get Prema Bhakti at the end. And whatever
Got it.
needed is the
Yes,
help,
yes, yes.
the sadhu sangha, sat sangha, that help us to move forward because we don't have a taste. Sushrusha Sadadhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Only through these great souls we serve them. Bhagavat Sevaya, Bhagavatam Sevaya. So then we get progress, make progress quickly. So through bhakti, we get bhakti.
Got it, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful explanation. Wonderful explanation. Connected the dots. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Very
Okay.
good.
Anyone else? So Raju Prabhu, let's get that. Let me make another attempt to first let me understand what's your question. I thought that's what you were asking me about that we need shelter of Lucy Devi and others. But that is a part of bhakti process. Where are you, Rajiv Prabhu?
Prabhuji, Rajiv Prabhu is not here. I think he has the wrong.
Okay, Prabhuji, I think anybody else? Okay, Sir Prabhuji, you have about 25 minutes.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much. First comment I'll give on humility. You have heard all about humility, including what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said in Sikshastakam. But this is not understood very clearly by many people because people think humility is a weakness. People think if I am humble, then people will walk over me. But such understanding is arising from the misunderstanding of humility. Actually, humility is not about looking downward at ourselves, but looking upward at something bigger than ourselves. And when we face challenges in life, especially challenges that are beyond us to face on our own, we learn the power of humility. If we are humble, we are left with nothing except our own inadequate power. But if we are humble, we can seek the help of some power bigger than ourselves. And the biggest of such power is Lord Krishna. And humility frees us from self-consciousness and it empowers us to rise to God consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna was initially trying to figure out the right course of action using his own intellectual power. And despite his many glorious abilities, he could not decide. He ended up in confusion, and that's why he cast aside his bow in discouragement. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the word dainya is explained like this by Rupa Goswami. He says that when unhappiness, fearfulness, and the sense of having offended, these three combine, one feels totally condemned. And this sense of condemnation is described as dinata or humility. Now, when he is subjected to such humility, he feels physically inactive, he apologizes, and his consciousness is disturbed. His mind is also restless, and many other symptoms are visible. And given in Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, the various qualities. Out of them, the first quality, the most important listed in 13.8 is humility only. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Now, the material conception of life makes us very eager to receive honor from others. But from the point of view of a man who is in perfect knowledge, who knows that he is not this body, he is the soul, then anything, honor or dishonor pertaining to his body is totally useless. And therefore, one should not be hankering after this material deception of honor and dishonor. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna therefore lists humility as the first item of knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada writes that without humility, we cannot get knowledge we are talking today. And until we know that we don't know, we why should we want to learn? And Lord Jesus Christ also taught that the meek will inherit the earth, and those who put themselves last are the first in the eyes of the Lord. If humility invites exploitation, then why do the scriptures recommend this? Lord Chaitanya says that a person with all good qualities is bent down with humility like a tree full of fruits. Now, do we actually need humility? Now, Srila Prabhupada, he writes many times that a person who have seriously taken up the practice of Krishna consciousness, they don't need to work separately at developing good qualities. For example, they are automatically vegetarians, they did not join a vegetarian society. Still, Krishna's devotees carefully select food to make sure it is free from the unwanted things like meat, fish, eggs, and other things. Now, the devotee does not therefore have to make an effort for all these things. Similarly, when we are offering ourselves to the Lord, we must examine ourselves to spot arrogance. And part of our spiritual advancement requires making sure that our mind is pure, it is fit for the temple of Lord Krishna. That's why these are the various reasons why we should be very, very humble in the very, very first place, that because that is the greatest quality, the first listed by the Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 13.8. Then we were talking about Adau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrutti and all that. Adau means it is actually what is commented by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is Adau means it is Sadhu Sangha. And more about Sadhu Sangha we will be discussing in the lessons 7 and 8. Then the most interesting thing, the question asked by Samta Mataji yesterday, I said I require some time to answer that, and we have got the time today. What I'll just remind you what her question was. Her question was, we are practicing bhakti in whatever way we can. We are doing chanting, we are listening, that is Sravanam, Kirtanam and all that. Like these classes we are attending, this is also bhakti. Then what is going to be our destination? In very brief, I want to give you an idea, and you will then at the end you will have an idea of where we are likely to go after we leave this present material body. Now, what are the various destinations we are thinking of? We are talking of Swarga, Vaikuntha, that is full of Aishwarya, and Golak Vrindavana, that is the home of Lord Krishna. Now, in this, I'll be using certain terms like Varnashrama Dharma, Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, and Gunibhuta Bhakti. I hope you remember these things when Radhika Mataji took the class the other day. She described about Pradhanibhuta Bhakti and Gunibhuta Bhakti. In Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, Bhakti is prominent, and in Gunibhuta Bhakti, Bhakti is secondary. Now, if you remember in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 16th verse, that talks about the 4 types of people, and we'll see if we fit into any of these types. Now, what are the types? They say the Artha, Jigyasur, Artharthi, Jnani. Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Remember, all these 4, they are not Suddha Bhaktas, like all of us, because we also have got so many desires also with us. But all these 4, they are following the Varnashrama Dharma. And what is Varnashrama Dharma? It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 13, first canto, second chapter, 13th verse. Samsiddhir Haritosanam, doing everything to please the Supreme Lord. But still then, they are not Suddha Bhaktas, they are not Ananya Bhaktas, they are not Kevala Bhaktas, they are not pure devotees. Very briefly about Artha. Artha is distressed. We also get distressed many a times, and at that time, even if we have forgotten the Lord in other times, we remember the Lord at that time, like Gajendra. He remembered at the last moment when he fought with the crocodile for 1,000 years. Thereafter, he was totally distressed. He was about to die, he thought, and that's why he remembered the Lord, the Supreme Lord. This is Artha. Jigyasu, okay, Artharthi. Artharthi means he wants gold, money, wealth, like something like this. And a great example is Dhruva Maharaj. He initially wanted, but later on he didn't want to have. But still then the Lord gave him. Then Jigyasu and Jnani. Jigyasu and Jnani, these words, they look similar. But what our acharyas, especially the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes like this: Jigyasu he is a grihastha, and he is a householder like us. Then he studies to know the soul. Then he has interest in Vyakaran, that is the grammar, astrology, like this. And he is for moksha also. Now Jnani, he has no desires at all. He is a sannyasi. He has got Suddha Antakarna, that is, he is totally pure. And the example is Sukadeva Goswami. Now, what these Jnanis do, they do Jnana Sadhana, Indriya Nigraha. Then they have got Ruchi for Jnana. That's why they are not pure devotees. You may say they have got all the qualities, but Ruchi they do not have. Now, let us go into the little more details. Now, the first 3 of them, that is except Jnani, rather all 4 of them, they come under the category of Pradhanibhuta Bhakti because their Bhakti is prominent. Now, we also have to examine ourselves to find out if our Bhakti is prominent and all other activities we are doing in 24 hours in a day are the secondary or vice versa. Now, in Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, Bhakti is the principal component. Now, of these, the first 3 types, that is the Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi, they are doing Karma Mishra Bhakti. That means they are mixing Bhakti with Karma. Now, are we doing that? we are also doing that we have to know. Then the fourth type, the jnanis, they are doing jnana misra bhakti. And as I have already said, they are not doing kevala bhakti. Now the first I said gunibhuta bhakti, pradhanibhuta bhakti, then kevala bhakti also I spoke. Then let me talk about the third type of bhakti, the gunibhuta bhakti. Now gunibhuta bhakti means the process in which bhakti is secondary element. The primary elements are jnana, karma, yoga, and like this. Now here, the karmis, jnanis, and the yogis, they are predominantly the desire result for their actions because they want bhukti and mukti. Bhukti means for sense gratification also they want, and mukti also want, because why bhukti? Because they want to get out of this material world which is full of miseries. That's why they have got a self-interest here, and we have to see ourselves, are we like that? Now, because of lack of prominence of bhakti and instead of prominence of karma, jnana or yoga, the gunibhuta bhakti is not actually classed as bhakti. And as things should be classed by predominance of quality, these processes are called karma, jnana, and yoga, and this is not bhakti at all. Now, the result of sakama karma is swarga. That means if you are doing karma and it is sakama karma, then the destination is swarga only. And the result of niskama karma is jnana yoga. Then he will be he will have Suddha Antakarana, then he will have the qualification to enter into Jnana Yoga, and the result of Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga is Nirvana or Moksha, that is impersonal liberation, that we already know that it is spiritual suicide only. Now, the result of the two types of Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, they are described like this. Among the types of Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, the first three, as we saw, they are the Karma Misra Bhakti or Sakama Bhakti. Now, the result of this Bhakti is attainment of the respective desires, because they want to get delivered from the suffering. Their suffering will be will subside by this materialistic method, and they will gain a lot of material benefits. And after that, because of the superior nature of their object of worship, that is the Supreme Lord, these devotees, they will attain liberation in the form of salokya, samipya, like this, with predominance of happiness and powers, that is sukha and aishwarya. And there is no fall down as in the case of exhausting enjoyment in Swarga. The people fall down like this, there is nothing like this. But they cannot be parcels of the Supreme Lord. They will just enjoy, they will have the form of the Lord, they will stay in the same planet. This can happen, but they cannot render service to the Supreme Lord. Now, the result of Jnana Misra Bhakti, which is superior to the other three types, is that at the end they will get Santarati, Santa-bhāva. The examples are the Chatuskumaras headed by Sonagarusi and others. Similarly, because of exceptional mercy of the Lord and his devotee, the result of Jnana Misra Bhakti is in a higher position in Prema, as in case of Sukadeva Goswami. He got Krishna Prema also, because he got in contact with a pure devotee, that is his father, that is Vyasadeva. Now in Sakama Bhakti, that is the first three types what we spoke about, if they become Nistama, without desires, they do not desire anything, this desire goes, then the result is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Then come to the Jnana Marga, and the result of that Jnana Mishra Bhakti is what we learned is Santarati. Now sometimes this Jnana Mishra Bhakti or the Karma Mishra Bhakti devotees, they attain prema in Dasya Rasa or higher rasas when they come in contact with devotees of Dasya Rasa and higher rasas. And in that case, the cause is deep impressions of these rasas, not only from the previous lives, but from the association of pure devotees with Dasya Rasa or other rasas in the present life or in past lives. However, that prema is predominated by mood of reverence, that is Aishwarya. That is, they will go to Vaikuntha Loka and not to Golok Vrindavana. And if the result of pure bhakti is unmixed with jnana, karma or yoga, it is called Ananya Bhakti or Akinchana Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti, which has many types. And one becomes the associate of the Lord with Dasya, Sakhya and other rasas, that is Vatsalya and Madhurya Bhava, and he goes to Golok Vrindavana. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam also in many places it is described. Then the last portion of Mataji's question which was asked yesterday was that Ajamila, he did not practice any bhakti. He did all sorts of wrong things in his life. But at the end, he just took the name of the Lord, or rather, he did not take the name of the Lord. He took the name of his son, whose name was the same as the Supreme Lord, and he got delivered instantly. Can this happen to us? Now here we have to remember one thing, that Ajamila, he got delivered by simply taking the name of the Lord once only, because he did not have any offenses. Now we have to see if we have committed offenses in this life or previous life. And if so, then we will not be benefited like Ajamila. Ajamila is a very, very special case in the Shastras, in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas, but we will not get that benefit if we have got the anarthas or offenses with us. And what are the offenses? Offenses, as we know, there are 10 offenses, the Nama Paradha. Then there are 10 Vaishnava Paradhas. Then Seva Paradha, there are 32 given in Padma Purana and 32 given in Varaha Purana. Sometime we will cover them in detail. That means if we have committed any of these aparadhas and they have not been diluted or burned, then we will not get the benefit as Ajamila got. But one thing is very sure, if we have come to this path, we have taken initiation and we are following the principles which are laid down by ISKCON, which are laid down by our Guru and the Vaishnavas, then certainly it is guaranteed that we will never go to the hell under any circumstances. That is guaranteed. But we have to come up to the correct stage, correct level in future lives, so that we can be delivered from this material world and we can go to a suitable destination from where nobody returns, as promised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. I hope I have answered your question, Samta Mahataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabuji. Thank you so much. Very nice. Done with that.
Thank you very much, Shraddha. Thank you so much. So, there are no further questions. I'm going to request Sagar Prabhu to conclude the class. Haribol, Sagar Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabuji, please accept my humble observation. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhai. Namaste Narasimhai. Prahlada Dahini. Prahlada Dahini. Hiranyakasipurvakshaha. Hiranyakasipurvakshaha. Shilatankar Nathale. Shilatankar Nathale. Ito Narsingha, Parato Narsingha, Ito Narsingha, Parato Narsingha, Ito Yami, Ito Narsingha, Ito Yami, Ito Narsingha, Bhayan Narsingha, Hriday Narsingha, Bhayan Narsingha, Hriday Narsingha, Narasingha Madin Saranam Prapade, Narasingha Madin Saranam Prapade. Akala kamala bhari nakhaadbhuta singam dhalita hiranyakasipur tanubringam kesavadhita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare avakala kamala bhari Nakhaadbhuta singam dalita hiranyakasipur tanubringam yesavadhita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare jai jagadisha hare. नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रपात की जय, चारु प्रभु की जय, शरद प्रभु की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, ऑल assembled devotee की जय उस हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Sadhu Prabhuji. Thank you all of you for your time and patience. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Ram, Ram, Hare.
All those discussions in Vrindavan, all those devotionals, Hare Krishna. So everyone, I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And we look forward to hearing from Sharad Prabhuji next weekend on lessons 7 and 8. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Dandavat.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna, thank you.
Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna,
much,
thank you. Nice,
Prabhu.
nice
Thanks
reflection.
for the Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Shar Prabhuji, Dandava Pranam. Hare Krishna, Sarubaji.
Thank you, Prabhu. We are waiting for the Rajiv Prabhu's answer, maybe next week.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Ms. Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण संजीव प्रभु. संजीव प्रभु.
Hare Krishna.